What's up, everybody? It's time for the craziest advice show of the year. Well, let's not say that. Let's say of the week. Here, we do this on Tuesdays. People send in their questions in advance. If you want to send yours in, you can look in the show description down below or here. This tells you how to send your question in so that you can be featured in the show possibly as soon as next week. But if not, sometime after that. Be aware though, we don't always pick everybody's letter. We don't want a bunch of letters that have a similar theme in it or something we just did recently. We don't choose those. So not everyone will get picked, but we try to get as many in every week as we can. So yeah, let's get started. We got 25 questions. As you can hear, I'm kind of dragging. Man, I don't know. People were making so much noise last night I couldn't sleep. So I'm just dragging butt today. So let's get started though. Since it's 25 questions, I don't have a lot of time to fool around. Welcome everybody to the show. Question number one. This is a female in the 18 to 21 age group. She's a Pisces from Denver, Colorado. She says, my husband and I, he's 21, I'm 20, got married about 2 weeks ago. The other day when I came home from work, he said he needed to tell me something. Then he told me that he might have a child with a girl that he used to date. Apparently, she doesn't want him in her or the child's life. The child is still very young. They haven't had contact since she sent him ultrasound pictures. He told me that he tried to make it work with her, but it didn't. And there's no paternity test, and right now she doesn't want one. But Deb, he didn't just find out about this. He's known since she got pregnant, and he never told me. Oh. At first, I was in shock, but now I'm just pissed. I'm so angry he never told me that when he had multiple opportunities to do so. The only reason he told me today was because he found out that she's been having dinner with his grandma. Why would she do that if she wants nothing to do with him? I'm worried one day that she will want him to be a part of this possible child's life or want money, which she would be entitled to. I still love him and I want to be with him, but I don't feel like I can trust him right now. I don't know if he's hiding something else from me. What do I do from here? This is a hard one because, as you pointed out, this is something big to just not tell somebody. Because by the time you marry them, if child support is involved, that could affect your income as well as his. Because if he loses his job for any reason and he's on child support with the county or whatever you guys have, your city, whatever the way it's structured, they're going to attach your check. You know why? Because income for a married couple is community property. So they're going to figure like, well, he would be getting half of that income that you make anyway, so they'll just tap your money for the child support. You'll also have to be bothered with visitation. I mean, she's saying she doesn't want anything to do with him now, but what would happen if something happened to her? And he's next of kin. The kid's coming to live with you, and you're going to have to jump into that role of stepmother when you didn't even know this kid existed. Now, the only thing that may save both of you is a DNA test that proves that the child is not his. I would highly recommend that. She doesn't want one, but that's too bad. Before he pays any child support, he's entitled to have one. I would also advise him to warn his grandmother that until uh, a real paternity test is done, she is not to get too close to this child or this girl and start thinking that she's going to be setting up trusts for the kids and all this kind of stuff, putting the kid in her will and all that kind of nonsense until she knows for sure that this is a descendant of her family. I would recommend that as well. So, and be careful, why keep an eye on your grandmother? I don't know, something about that's not sitting well with me. Why is she not wanting anything to do with you, but she's going to go to some old lady? That's just not really working for me. So tell him to keep an eye on his grandmother. If it gets too funky, like the girls get money from the grandmother or something like that, you may have to involve take some legal action to back her up. Because she shouldn't be getting any money from anybody except for the alleged daddy. That's the only person. I don't know. This is just bothersome to me. His whole game here. I know you love him, but I'm telling you, if it were me, I would be getting an annulment and deuce out on this because I just wouldn't trust him anymore. You gonna hide a whole baby? No, we're not doing that. And then I would just be done with him. Yeah, it does sound scammy. He hid it all this time because he knew she would be like, "No, I don't want to marry you." So he didn't tell her until after it was it was too late until you already made the commitment and walked down the aisle. Just trash. All right, let's move on to question number 2. This is a young lady in the 28 to 34 age group. Excuse me. From San Jose, California. The male in question is in the 22 to 27 age group. My boyfriend and I have been together for about 2 years. We've always had a pretty equitable relationship. Our incomes are similar. We still share household responsibilities, etc. In other words, I don't feel like either one of us have traditionally gendered relationship roles. I found this to be quite refreshing because I grew up in a very conservative religious family with very traditional gender roles, and that never resonated with me. My allergies have been kicking my butt. I will say that I am not a very feminine woman. I hike, backpack, and live a very active, outdoorsy lifestyle. My style is functional and supports that lifestyle. I'm self employed and work remotely, so there's rarely a reason for me to dress up. I find jewelry silly. I hate cooking and cleaning, probably because it brings up weird childhood memories of women being slated unwillingly into that role. But here's the thing, I've never felt like I'm not a woman. I'm just a woman who likes cargo shorts and mud. So when my boyfriend first suggested I might be non binary a few months ago, I laughed it off. I thought he was joking. And I replied along the lines of, "No, I'm just a weird girl." Unfortunately, he wasn't joking. Over the next few months, he has repeatedly been sending me videos about gender, non binary folks, etc. He insists that because I like what I like and dress how I dress, I must be non binary. Your boyfriend is stupid. Before they came up with all these fancy terms, you know what girls were who were like that? They used to call them tomboys. But you know what? Nobody ever said that they were anything other than a girl. They were always a girl. So this is kind of weird. God, I'm dying. So then she says, I have tried pushing back, but I don't know how else to explain to him that I'm a woman other than saying, no, I've never not felt like a woman. He insists that I only think this way because I was raised with lots of transphobia, etc. It's become a huge issue between us. Last night he brought it up again. I told him I couldn't understand why this mattered so much to him. I'm me, he knows who I am. What does it matter to him so much whether I identify as a woman or non binary? His response is that it hurts him to see me being so dishonest with myself. I don't feel I'm being dishonest with myself, but I don't know how else to convince him of that. Where the heck do I go from here? We were so happy. We had such a solid relationship, but I don't know how we can continue to date if this isn't resolved. Can this communication gap be bridged, or should I leave? First of all, you need to jam him up and say, look here, dude, stop, because you don't know if you male or whatever. You could be part frog or something. I don't know what the problem is with you. So you trying to put that off on me like it's something different with me. That's you that has all these thoughts of people being non-binary. So have you looked in the mirror lately? Is that what's really going on with you? And you trying to put it on me? Because this is some BS and you know it. Then if he keeps it up, I would tell him, you say this to me one more time, which means you're refusing to accept who and what I say I am. You trying to think you know what I am better than me, and you're in a better position to judge what I am about myself. You got one more time, and then this relationship is over. Because one thing I'm not gonna do is be beat over the head by some nutcase who thinks that he can tell me who and what I am. I'm not gonna have it. Now that would be what I would suggest that you tell him in that order. Thanks, Orchid. Well, getting some tea, that would take too long because I have to boil the water and do all that old stuff. I'll be gone for a minute here. But yeah, this guy, I don't know. He's something's wrong with him. That would be my approach because I wouldn't want to hear it. I just wouldn't want to hear it. I don't want anybody trying to define who I am. I decide that. And if I say I'm not whatever this non-binary thing is, then motherfucker, I'm not. And you're gonna accept it. And if you don't want to accept it, there's the door. Get out. So I don't know how much else, how more Nicely to put that. That's as best as I can get. Question number 3, female, 42 to 49. She's a Gemini from Nashville, Tennessee, and the male in question is 42 to 49 as well, and he is an Aquarius. I ended things over a year and a half ago. He was recently separated, and I wasn't in the best place in my life at that time. We decided then to be exclusive, and then found him on a dating site that we met on. It was an ugly breakup. I allowed friends to influence my behavior towards him. We weren't together all that long. Over the last year and a half, I've gone to therapy, worked on myself personally and professionally, and I still think of him often. I tried contact a few months after I broke it off with no response. I think I texted him, "How are you?" I've recently written an accountability letter. My therapist suggested it and have been debating on sending it. Do you think I should let it go and give it a try without expectation of a response? No, you should not. That's over. You already tried that. How are you? And he didn't respond. That means, you know what that means? He don't want to be bothered with you. Okay, let me just put it bluntly because you don't seem to get it. Now you the one sitting around thinking about him. He's on about his business, thinking about 55 other women that he met on the dating site. He's not giving you a second thought. You need to do the same. You're putting way too much on the situation with a nut you met on a dating site that you weren't even with that long. It's not like y'all was engaged and had kids and all this stuff. What are you doing? What are you doing? So, yeah, and you know this thing about reaching out after you break up with somebody, you never do that. That was a huge mistake. When you break up with somebody, especially for cause like what you had, because evidently you thought you had a serious relationship and he was still on a dating site. So you thinking that you was building something and it was some kind of commitment and all this sort of stuff. But since you didn't really have the conversation, I'm trying to figure out how you got there. That was in your imagination. Let's start there. But anyway, whatever. You guys didn't have that kind of situation. So I don't understand what's all this angst and got to go to therapy and all this old stuff about this clown. You're doing too much. And your accountability letter, read it, put it in a drawer, save it for a year, read it, and then burn it. Okay? Nobody cares. Your therapist told you to do it, and this is for you. Nobody else, and you don't send it. Because then you'd be upset if he'd send back and said FUB. I'm not trying to give a blankety blank about what you think. I don't give a blankety blank about you either. See, then what you gonna do? That's why you never send stuff to people that, especially after they dogged you out. Why would you think he would care to get your letter? He's not gonna care. So just save yourself the drama, okay? Question number 4. This is a female in the 18 to 21 age group. She's a Libra out of Los Angeles, California. I am actually 17, but I'll be 18 in September. I have worked at this place for almost a year now. I've known this coworker. He is old, and you put that all caps old. I think about 65 with question marks. Okay, so she's 17 and he's 65. Wow. We will call him Paul for about 5 months. He works in the toy department, and I used to work right next to him in cosmetics. I have a weird feeling about him ever since we met, but I don't know if I'm being paranoid or not. The first time we met, we talked about my schooling. I mentioned that my grades were pretty low and that I was failing math. So I always told him a little bit about my my car, and that it is a green Honda. A few weeks later, he asked me how I was doing in school. I told him I was doing better in my maths. I actually put an S on there, class. And he laughed and said, "That's a very good girl," which made me really uncomfortable. I asked him not to call me that, and he said he would stop, but he didn't. So me, him, and a third coworker, he's also 17, we'll call him Devin, were having a conversation about dating. He mentioned how Paul and I would be a cute couple, blah, blah, blah. That grandpa, you should have slapped Devin in his face. He then asked if I was into older men, and I just kind of stared at him because the question was just random and out of the blue. That was a setup. Paul put Devin up to that, to see how you would feel about him getting at you. What you were supposed to say, I'm going to tell you this right now before I forget. I have to stop and do it right now. When you have a situation and you know you don't want the person and it's 2 men in a setup like that, that's a setup, girlfriend. Recognize the game. You were supposed to say, "That fool is older than my grandfather. What would I want with that wrinkled up, dried up, Viagra taking fool?" That's what you're supposed to say. You don't let them clown you like that. And I know you don't know this because you're only 17. But listen to me, okay? Anytime that happens from today forward in your lifetime, understand that that's a setup. That's game. Yeah, 17, almost, well, 18 in a month and a half or so. And then at 65, well, she's guessing. I mean, he might be older. You know what I mean? So she says, he said, hey, it's a fair question. You're a beautiful girl, and age is just a number after all. See, that's not something that a 17-year-old boy would say. He was primed to say that and possibly even paid by that old Paul dude. Devin luckily quickly changed the subject. The next day, I think Devin and I were walking and talking together, and we heard Paul and someone else talking about women. They were saying pretty vile things that I'd rather not repeat. Devin saw I was a bit uncomfortable, so we walked a different direction. Not long after that, he told me that he likes to wait by the door at 5:30 when I clock in to see me drive through the parking lot. This really got me creeped out. Remember, at this point, I've only known him for less than 2 months. I don't care if you knew him for 2 years. He still don't need to be watching you do anything. I did mention to another coworker, and he said that I'm just being paranoid and to let it go. Said that's just Paul's personality. You'll get used to it. I felt so stupid in that moment. Let's see, girl, why did you write a damn novel? Okay, so she says she told her boss if he was on a schedule, she wanted to work somewhere else. My boss soon asked me why never wanted to be in the cosmetics anymore, and I told her I just wanted to change the pace and I wanted to be more helpful, which is partially true. She asked me if that was all, and I said yes. She didn't really seem to believe me, but she accepted my answer. But she's been having me do a lot more than just cosmetics, and I'm hardly over there now. I feel awful for feeling this way about my coworker, but I just have this gut feeling that I shouldn't be talking to this man and that I should avoid him. I don't know, it's hard to explain. I genuinely want to quit. Not just because of him, though, but he is one of the bigger reasons. What do you think of this? Am I doing too much? No, absolutely not. At 17, as I guess nobody told you this, your female intuition that this is a high risk, dangerous situation for you, those alarm bells are ringing. This is probably the first time in your life that you've ever experienced that because you're so young and you're just now getting into the workforce. This is going to happen for probably the next 15 years or so until you get about 40. It's going to happen because men are trash in the workplace. In spite of the laws and companies have all kind of written policies and guidelines and stuff, there's constantly being sued. People are constantly being fired. People are constantly being written up, transferred, suspended, all kind of stuff for sexual harassment of female employees. So the fact that there's laws in place merely it provides an avenue for women to pursue legal action and for companies to get rid of the fools. But you would think that the men would understand this is going to mess you up. You're going to have this charge if your future employers call and ask you, they're going to tell them that this is what you did. It is going to follow. If it's a court case and you get convicted, it's really going to be a problem. So men don't understand. You just leave the women at your jobs alone. Okay, get your freak on somewhere else. Especially somebody who's a grandpa sitting up there trying to hit a girl who's just out of high school. You're gross and disgusting, sir. Man, you let that have been my daughter coming home telling me some stuff like that. It would have taken the entire U.S. Army to keep me from that job, to keep from going up in that man's ass. Yeah, he likes young kids. That's why he works in the toy department. You caught that? That's that's why he's after her because she's a kid too. That's not normal. Okay, men they want working tools, automotive, audio, video, with the TVs and stuff like that. Not in the kids department. He's a freak anyway. If I was a supervisor, I would have never put him in that department. I don't like that. Something about this dude. So anyway, yeah, tune into your intuition. Trust your gut. Okay, you did the right thing, and your boss, the female boss, understood what's going on. All you had to do is stop trying to lie. Stop lying and hiding. If something like this is going on, tell people who are in a position to do something about it. Now, your woman directly asked you, and then you denied it. That was stupid. Okay, that was dumb. You're supposed to say, yes, I'm very uncomfortable with this old man who keeps asking me questions and following me in the parking lot. That's what you're supposed to say because that enables the employer to do something to protect you. You silly little girls. You just want to, I'm worried about his feelings. I feel guilty. That's being hella stupid. You're supposed to be worrying about yourself. Don't worry about some old dusty, crusty man. He knows what he's doing is inappropriate. He knows it's illegal if he takes it one step higher, and he's doing it anyway. Okay, so you don't worry about them. You worry about yourself. Oh my God, these little girls kill me with this. Who's training these girls to think so much about men and protect men over themselves so much? This is driving me crazy. I tell you, just every week it's the same thing, and it makes me insane. It's like, what kind of parenting are people doing where they're teaching their girls this? Teach your girls self-preservation and self-respect above everything else, and to never worry about some man's feelings. This is just awful. Question number 5, male 35 to 41. He's a Scorpio out of Baltimore, Maryland. Female 35 to 41, and she's a Leo. Leo and Scorpio. I blew up at my girlfriend for not showing me her phone when I asked. Now I want to end the relationship. I'm going to start off with the fact that I've never asked or felt like I needed to check a significant other's phone or keep tabs on him. We are both 36. I feel if there's no trust in that respect, there's no point in being in a relationship with that person. I've been cheated on before, but I know that that's not about her. So me and my girlfriend were out to eat, and her phone lights up with a few texts. I joked around and grabbed her phone, pretending to text back and go through previous texts and pics. I don't have her password, so that wasn't even possible. But she freaked out and aggressively snatched her phone out of my hands and got mad at me. Mind you, she knows all my passwords and has nonchalantly admitted to going through every single one of my texts and pictures. I don't delete anything, so they go back 9+ years. Wow. She's openly admitted this to me, and I didn't think she was doing anything wrong by doing so. I don't have a problem with it, so I don't have anything to hide, but it was a privacy issue and an extra slap in the face for the double standard. When I asked her in the restaurant to show me her phone, she flat out said no and then shut down. She deletes all text and Facebook messages after reading them anyway, so I wouldn't have seen much if she did unlock it for me. I just have no patience with this double standard, and frankly, I don't want to know if she's cheating on me. It would hurt more than help to know. I've given her no reason not to trust me, and I've never cheated on anyone because I've been hurt in that way, and no one deserves that. If you feel the need to sleep with someone else, just break it off. Okay, so what else? Okay, we've been dating almost 2 years. I'm tempted to just ghost her because I had no more words. I decided it's over mentally, but I have no idea what to say. I guess my problem is that I don't want to be an a-hole, even to my own detriment. It's making me feel like I'm crazy for this being the reason to end an almost 2-year relationship. I just don't trust her anymore because of this. This though, what's up? Okay, I'm gonna say this, sir, because you don't have a problem with it. Somebody looking at your phone doesn't mean that other people are that way. So the double standard is you expecting everybody to be like you. Few people are. Like, I don't have anything on my phone of any kind of weird nature and, nothing. So, I mean, a kid could look at my phone, but you know what? You're not going to because it's mine. That to me is this privacy thing. You don't need to know who I'm calling. You don't need to know any text I'm getting from anybody. You don't need to look at the pictures I have on my phone. It's none of your business because it's mine. Now, she probably thinks like me. Now, you just like, oh, yeah, just take the phone and look through it. So she did because you invited her to. But she didn't invite you to. And now you mad because you want her to treat you the way that you treated her, and it's not going to happen. But if you want to break up over that, then you just go right ahead. No skin off her nose. 2-year relationship up in smoke because you want to throw a tantrum because somebody don't have the same values that you do. Nobody has ever looked through my phone. And any man who asked me to do that, I would have a cow and probably cuss him out. If he gave me his phone and said it was okay to look through it, I might look through a couple of things just because he said so, but that's not really an interest that I have. I don't know why she would look through every single one, but I just don't care. Like, even when I go to dudes' houses, like a lot of women will snoop in the drawers and the medicine cabinets and, look at picture books. I don't do any of that. I feel like if the person wanted me to know those things, he would tell me. He would volunteer. He would pull out the picture books and say, oh, yeah, let's look at these pictures when when I was a little growing up in my high school yearbook and also he would volunteer that and then I would sit there and I would look at it. I'm not going to nobody's drawers. I'm not going to nobody's cabinets. I'm not asking no questions about nothing because it's none of my business. And why do I do that? Because I don't want somebody coming to my house and doing it to me. So I don't care. Yeah, you know. Okay, wait. Oops, I lost. Oh, it starts at the bottom of this page. Okay. Female 18 to 21 from Springfield, Missouri. I'm 21. I've been working at a golf course as a Bev Cart girl for 2 years now. This guy in the pro shop, he's about 40, I guess, has been extremely friendly to me since day one. These teenagers and these old ass men. It's like you can't trust your kids to work nowhere. Wow. Last summer, I thought he was just a super friendly guy, while also thinking, wow, he's older than he is. I thought he was 50. But he would bring in donuts for the girls and make sure I took one and always call me into the pro shop when I passed by to chat with me and make jokes about me drinking all the alcohol when I asked for new bottles for the cart. But I was only 20 at the time. My last shift last year, he mentioned to me that he was sad I was leaving because he was going to ask me to hang out. I was shocked and grossed out because there's no good reason someone almost 20 years older than me should want to hang out with me as a teenager. During the off season, he messaged me on Facebook saying he saw I was home and asked how my semester was going and then proceeded to call me. I ignored both. He also found my Instagram and tried to follow me, which I also ignored. When I returned to work this summer, I kept my distance as much as possible. I tried to avoid the pro shop unless I was absolutely needed something. My first day back, he made it a point to walk all the way to the snack shop where I was working and talk to me, took out my trash and everything. I soon found out that he was also asking around and looking at schedules to see when I was working. Fast forward, an older lady working there pulled me aside today and told me she heard about what he was doing and how creepy he is. She wanted to know if I was underage because then he could be fired. Soon after, another girl my age told me that he had stalked her VSCO. What's that? I don't know what that is. And liked bikini pictures of her as well as made a comment to her at work about them. She also told me that he had told another coworker last week about me. If she was a little older and I was a little younger, we would have a problem. Okay, he needs to be fired. I told my manager about him and asked if it was possible for me to have our shifts not coincide so I don't have to see him. She was disturbed and took me to the general manager, who's basically a musclehead, and he dismissed me completely, saying it's my fault that I should have nipped this in the bud months ago and had a conversation with him. I told him it's not that easy because he's so much older and I'm so young, but the GM just completely did not understand, responding with a sarcastic, oh really? Wow. It's like a whole show. I could do a whole show on these young girls and these men on these jobs. It's just trifling. He told me I should get used to this behavior for my future, which really grossed me out. I told him I'll be working in a 95% female-dominated workplace, so hopefully not. Basically, he told me he would talk to the pro shop guy, but that besides the last comment he made, nothing else is very concerning. Our schedule will not be changed, and ultimately I'm going to have to work with this guy and likely receive hostile treatment from him. I left feeling as though I created a whole situation for myself now that the GM, hold on a second, seems mad at me too and thinks I was overreacting. I now question whether I should have said anything and if I was just being too dramatic. Maybe I should have just told him off. I shouldn't be such a pussy, etc. The guilt is eating me alive. I feel like a stupid crybaby. I just need the truth. If I should have handled the situation differently. And I don't know if I should quit or not because the thought of seeing the pro shop guy again scares me. Let me start with this. What the stupid general manager said about getting used to this beforehand, I just said that at the last letter. This is what millions of women have to deal with on the job. Like I said, in spite of the fact that there are laws and most companies have policies in place, they don't follow them. And that's why they get sued. That's why they get dragged to court, and the women get huge settlements because they don't take it seriously until it escalates into something super egregious. So is there someone over the head of the general manager? That's who you need to speak to. Someone who's got like a legal counsel or something like that. Somebody, the CEO, CFO, VP, somebody like that's over the general manager. And you need to report it to them because you are a minor. Okay, and this guy is an adult. And he's doing this kind of stuff with other minor children that work there. This is inappropriate. He needs, if nothing else, to be talked to and told not to do it again. Otherwise, he's going to lose his job. They should write him up for that. Most likely they would not terminate him right away, but he definitely should get talked to and written up about it, and a warning, a formal warning that goes in his personnel file, because this is not to be tolerated. What I imagine is somebody's gonna bring their daughter up there to golf, and he's gonna start to get at somebody's daughter and end up with his clock punched, because some men don't play that about their daughters, and he's gonna be trying to talk to the wrong one. I know that's how it would have been if I had worked there, and came home and told my dad, he would have been up there the next day, and it would have been dude would have had a problem. But you do have to learn to advocate for yourself. So when he started, like when he tried to friend you on Facebook or whatever, and the girl who he made the bikini comments about and stuff like that, all of those things, you guys know how to take screenshots with your phone. That stuff should have been documented so that you have evidence of him trying to contact you outside of business hours and you being minor children. Okay, you didn't give him that information. He went and stalked you and found it. There's a difference. He's doing the most. He's just doing all kind of stuff that he should not be doing as a fellow employee. Okay, he's not staying where he's supposed to be staying. So in the future, you do need to speak up and say, look, you are old. That's what your main thing when you have a situation like you tell them, you're old. Nobody's trying to deal with you. I like young men. That's no more than 21 years old. That's not you, Grandpa. Leave me alone. Don't be trying to hook up with me and have me hang out. Don't give me no fucking donuts. I'm not trying to eat all that junk food. Don't even talk to me. If I have something to talk to you about that's business related, then we will have a conversation. Other than that, don't say shit to me. So you talk to him like that, then he'll understand where you're coming from. But see, then you have to get a little bit of your hood working. And, I don't know what your deal is, but I never ask people their race and all that kind of stuff. So some people volunteer, but I never ask. But, that's the kind of thing. You have to find your voice as a woman, and you may as well start now. Okay, you got to speak up and advocate for yourself. And so then if you go to the general manager, look, I've already told him 3 times to stop, 2 times, whatever. I already warned him. I told him to stop following me on my social media. Look, here's the evidence. He's trying to friend me, and he's trying to get me to go out with him, this and that. And this guy, he's like fucking stalker. I never gave him my social media accounts. He's looked me up. This is highly inappropriate. I'm not even 18 years old. I'm still a kid in high school. What is he doing? And so, you put it like that, then they would have to do something. Because now they know, the next step is an attorney. Oh, hopefully we don't have any more of these letters. These get me upset because they're kids. Let's move on. Question number 7, female, 22 to 27. She's from Toronto, Canada. I am 24 years old and of Indian heritage living in Canada. My family set up an arranged marriage, and we also got engaged recently in a ceremony. However, I have been feeling that this is not going to work out for me. We have met barely thrice. What is that, 3 times or so, including the day we got engaged. He also isn't a fan of texting. We barely talk, but I never really minded. But if we do talk and have any kind of disagreement, every single time he would run to tell his mother, and she would call my mom or me, saying she didn't expect it from me, and her son is very upset. If this was the first time, then I would not read too much into it. But this happened too many times, Deb. And every time this happens, I feel more distant from him. I feel very sad, and it hurts my feelings that there is no privacy to my thoughts, or I am wrong for sharing my opinions with him. I am scared now to talk to him. Is this healthy in a relationship where you feel like a criminal every time you express your thoughts or feelings? Is it too late to back out now? No, it's not too late. You go to your parents who set up this arranged marriage, and you tell them what you just told me. Say he's not doing anything to try to get closer to me, and what he's doing is involving his mother. So I can see it would be a marriage where there would be 3 people. He's not a man. He's not man enough to be married yet. He's still a mama's boy, a child who's, he needs his mommy to run interference. I don't want a husband like that. This guy he's a joke. So you tell him straight like that and say, no, I'm not doing this. This would be a huge mistake. And I know you don't want a son-in-law who's like that, bringing his mother into everything. So let's just deuce out on this and cancel this situation. And that's what you do. You good, because I would have had to call him and tell him about himself. You weak, wussy, panty wearing little fool. If you run into your mama, tell your mother, I don't give a fuck what your mama says. How about that? Your mama could kiss my ass, and you too. But see, you're probably raised better than me, and so you don't say things like that to people. But yeah. Well, these mothers, a lot of these mothers, man, they have a son, especially if it's their only son. Oh my God. They just go crazy. They're just so freaking in his business and try to control every move and what he does, and then control his girlfriends, and if he gets married, control his wife, and tell everybody how to raise the kids. They just be all up in the Kool-Aid. And the sons don't shut them down because that's their precious mother. Shit. I'm just like, please. No, he would have got cussed out the first time. Let's move on to question number 8. This is a young man in the 22 to 27 age group. He's a Capricorn out of Newport News, Virginia. I had a great night with this girl about a week ago. It sucks because she was incredible, and I wish it could have led to more. Oh, it must be a one-night stand. He said a great night. We texted briefly, but I didn't get a reply after a bit. I want to ask to go out again, but I'm worried that I'll feel like an idiot or look like the desperate one. Am I overthinking this, or is this her way of showing she's not interested? Oh my God, do y'all have no balls at all? You want to go out with the girl, fucking ask her, okay? She's not a mind reader. She's not going to know what you want to do. Because a lot of times people do a one-night stand and then that's it. Now, you say that it was incredible, but if she didn't text you back after, well, I don't know, because was she at work? I mean, what was she doing where she really couldn't be like texting you for an hour straight? That kind of stuff has to be considered too when people are busy. People have a life, okay? They're not going to be sitting there texting you 900 texts back and forth. If you want to talk to somebody, the telephone, it can be used to make calls. As shocking and surprising as that is for you young people, that is its original purpose. All this texting and stuff is just a side attraction. And it takes too long and it's too exhausting to sit there text. Your thumbs get tired. Pick up the phone and call the girl like a grown-ass man and say, hey, I had a great time the other day. Let's go out again. I was thinking we could go here or there. Go. Have a plan, though, when you call her. Don't just say, oh, what do you want to do? And sound like an idiot. Have a plan. Oh, I was thinking we could go to dinner to such and such a place. They have, a lot of variety on the menu, steaks, pasta, all the stuff. So just would be something that you like. And then after that, we could go here and do that. And then how does that sound to you? Okay, have a fucking plan. Most men don't even fucking plan a date. They just want a woman to be like, get in the car and then sit there and try to figure out what to do after all of that. She needs to know how to dress, how late she might be out, and all that kind of stuff. And then you guys just make it hard for women to want to be with you because you just don't do what you're supposed to be doing. So to pick up the phone and call the girl, okay, the worst that'll happen is she'll say, well, I had a great time too, but I don't really feel like we had anything in common. And then you'll have your answer. She might just say that because, well, you had a good time in the bedroom. She might have not been so highly impressed like you think. But you'll never know that unless you grow a pair and call her and ask to go out again. Okay? Get it together. Question number 9, female, 22 to 27, Clarksville, Tennessee. I'm almost 30 and over the past year have been on multiple dates with guys in the 28 to 32 age range where we talk about what we're looking for, and they always mention that they recently got out of a relationship, so they aren't necessarily relationship hunting, but, quote, nothing is off the table, end quote. Deb, I've heard this exact phrase 3 times just this month. Oh, that's so. That's interesting. Including from one guy who I actually could see myself dating. Are they only saying this so they don't scare me away? Because many people would not be open to a purely casual fling with no potential for growth. Or do you think this is genuine, that they're open to a potential relationship growing if someone great comes along? I'm cool with taking things as they come, but not if I'm being lied to. Are they just saying this to lead me on without actually having their feelers or more out? What do you think? It's hard to say. This is not the kind of thing. The fact that they all use the same phrase, though, see, that's the part that's bothering me. I'm stuck on that. But the sentiment itself, I mean, there's nothing abnormal about that. Because people take different lengths of time to heal. For someone, just got a relationship, next week they out there. Because they already, had closure while they were still, quote, in the relationship. Other people feel like they got broadsided. The person just suddenly ended things. And so they need a little bit more time to recover their balance and, get back on their feet. So they might want some companionship and some nookie, but they're not going to be trying to be committed because their heart is still attached to that other person. And they're honestly telling you now. The other part of that could be game, because a guy will tell you that, right? Which basically for some women will set them up where they feel like, well, I'm going to make him, see that he can trust me and we can be in a relationship because I really like him, this and that. So you're going to do all the relationship stuff and just sleep with him and do everything that you even thought you could do because you're trying to win him over to your court, to your side. Whereas he's just going to take all that you give him, and then he's going to be like, yeah, but I told you I really, wasn't relationship ready. And that's how they get out of it. So, that's why I'm giving you these different options because, like I said, it could be true. What's bothering me, though, is the phrasing. And you said they all three said just this month, 3 different men said that use the exact same phrase. That's the part that's bothering me. Like, where are they getting this from? Where are they getting this from? Huh. Nothing is off the table. Well, I would go with, were it me and a guy straight up told me that, they aren't necessarily relationship hunting, I would stick to that part. And to me, that means that he just wants to fuck around. That's what he's basically saying. But, if the fucking around is good enough, then he might stick around for longer. And so that's why nothing's off the table. But if a man openly told me that, to me, that's the equivalent of, oh, I'm just a bachelor out there having a good time. It's the same kind of thing. They're not looking to be in a committed one-on-one relationship. That's what that's saying. But like I said, it could be true. And, to just got out of a relationship part could be a factor. But then again, since they all use the same phrase, I'm like, I kind of think that's just game. That's falling more into the game category. So make sure, unless you just absolutely want to, you don't sleep with them. You don't invest any emotion in them. If you spend time with them, it's just a good time. You spend the same amount of time with 3, 4, 5 other dudes. So you're not getting caught up. Okay? Because that's what they're going to be doing. Trust. Let's move on. Question number 10, female 22 to 27 from Mill Valley, California. Oh, God. I don't think I've ever had a letter from there. We are both 27 years old and both white. You probably already figured that out since, quote, Mill Valley, LOL, you right. I didn't want to say it, but you right. But I love your show and I really respect your maturity and how you think. So I wrote to try to get your input on my situation. Oh. So about 6 months ago, a few days after my fiance proposed, actually, I came home to find him sitting at our table with what I now know to have been 2 Mormon missionaries. I figured he'd been duped into chatting with them because he's a pushover and has a hard time telling people no. After they left, we laughed about it. I assumed he thought it was as goofy an experience as I did. But Deb, in the months to follow, he actually kept meeting up with them. At first, he wanted to go to church with them. I thought it was a curiosity thing, so I didn't really think too much of him going, but I didn't go. Several times I've come home to find him reading books with the missionaries. I've told him I have no interest in that organization and that the whole thing gives me the creeps. Deb, I'm losing him to what I consider a cult. I don't know what to do. He's like a shadow of himself. Oh, wow. And all he wants to talk about is church. And while I need to join him, how we could be together forever this way. I am beyond being able to reason with him. I think I need to leave if we can't agree on this, but I also hate to see him get pulled into this. What else can I try to get him to wake up and see the LDS church in a less biased way? Nothing. Once you said that he's a pushover and has a hard time telling people no, what you have is a man with a weak mind. I'm sorry, I know it's going to hurt your feelings. You got a dummy. Got a dude with a weak mind. Okay, he might be entirely intelligent and make good money because it's expensive to live in Mill Valley. So I know you all ain't broke. Let me put it that way. But what you have is a mark. And people like those people, they start coming in and you got to be tithing and they, want you to, give them money for the church and help with the building fund and the children's fund and the widow's fund and all that stuff. So a lot of his money is going to be siphoned off and going to that, what you call a cult. And I tend to agree with you. So I'm going to say this. What you need to do is sit down with him and say, look, I see you going, it's really unfortunate, but when we got engaged, we were on the same page and headed in the same direction. At this point, it makes no sense for us to continue this situation because you veered off to the left and I can't follow you there. I'm not going to do that. So you're on a path where I'm not going. And so we are on two different paths now. It makes no sense for us to even think about getting married. So I'm going to start looking for a place and then I'm going to move out within a month or two. And that's what you tell them. Mm-mm. When I lived in Oakland, now, I'm like, it was a mixed area, you know, mixed racial area up in the Oakland Hills. And one day they were knocking on my door. I don't even know how they got into the building because it was a secure condo building. So here they come knocking on the door, talking about, oh, we're from the Mormon church. I'm like, what you doing over here? And black people don't want to be Mormons. And they just looked at me. And they're like, well, we have African American Mormons. I said, you ain't gonna get none here. And I slammed the door. I'm not, but I don't feel bad because I do the same thing. Jehovah's Witnesses, any kind of Bible, anybody coming to my house telling me about any kind of religion, they all get the boop door slam. So yeah, but I thought that was so bizarre. The two little funny looking white boys coming to my house. I'm like, I know you confused. You really don't understand where you are. You need to leave this neighborhood. This is not a safe place for you with this, what you're talking about. Whew. Question number 11. This is a young man in the 18 to 21 age group from London. I am a black teenager who's interested in pursuing a career in early childhood education and childcare. At the beginning of the school year, I started working at my old elementary school because it seemed fun. There I met the cutest set of fraternal twins, a 6-year-old male and female, and I loved them to death to the point they're almost like my younger siblings. Since the mom still works, I've been babysitting for her almost every day. However, yesterday she told me that she was glad her kids weren't being babysat by a gay or trans person. The problem is I'm bi and I don't feel comfortable being around someone who thinks I'm going to groom her kids for some sort of sick pleasure. The only reason I didn't quit on the spot is because I don't want these kids to grow up believing all gay people are monsters out to hurt them. Do you think I should stop babysitting for her? I think you would do that. You would be stupid and shooting yourself in the foot. Let me explain this to you. You're young, so you don't understand this. Out in the world, you're going to run into people who think all kind of different ways. You know what? What you choose to do with your dick in the privacy of your bedroom is nobody's business. You don't have to advertise your sexuality. Nobody cares. I know people like, gay pride and all that kind of stuff. But the reality is that's why a lot of them stay in the closet because they either their own privacy because they don't feel the need to broadcast what they do in the privacy of their own bedrooms. And then there's people that want everybody to know what they do in their bedrooms. Two kind of people here. So for you, you have a good setup. You work with somebody. And she didn't say bi people. She said gay or trans. And I think when she says that, what she means is, the ones who are openly and kind of, like flamboyant and all that kind of stuff. That's what she means. And I'm going to tell you, that's, people think that that's bizarre. That's most parents, okay, unless they are into that lifestyle themselves. Most people who, we would call like regular people, I don't know what other word to use, but non, into all them letters and stuff, they think the same way. They might not be very vocal and say it like she did, but they do think it. Trust me. Nobody's sitting around here saying, oh, I want my kid to grow up and be trans or gay. They're not saying that. I mean, they may accept it if it happens, but they're not going to be pushing it on the kids or promoting it, and they don't want to bring it into their house. Okay, and they don't want to bring it into the schools either. There's battles about that as well. So that in itself, what she said to you is not unusual. You're gonna hear that with you in that childhood education. You're gonna hear that from most parents as you go through. The ones you won't hear from are the ones who fit that, who live that lifestyle. To them, that's regular. To other people, it's not. Especially if they're very religious, they're really not gonna be down with that. So you have a choice to make. Either you're going to stand for and exposing what you do in the privacy of your sex life on your job with kids, which is really stupid. Okay, you don't need to do that. Or you're going to shut your mouth and get your money and get your education and work your job so you have some experience in the field in which you are trying to get your degree of study. Why would you shoot yourself in the foot because of what you do here and there in the bedroom somewhere else and not at her house? Just keep your sex life away from your job and you'll be fine. Okay? That's all you got to do. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the terminology is. That's why I just said, regular, because I don't know. I don't know what the correct terminology is. It's just too much. Every time I turn around, they throw in all these different terms and letters and acronyms and stuff. I can't keep up. So I'm just, and look in the chat room too. They have some words of wisdom for you as well, young man. Question number 12, female, 22 to 27, from Edmonton, Canada. Deb, how do you deal with people who won't take no for an answer? I'm really struggling. I need some help. The main issue I have is around food. I try almost everything I'm offered, but I am a fussy eater and I have a lot of allergies as well. I've noticed that it's getting to the point where all of my in-laws are being pushy. I've had to politely say no thanks to eating things offered like chocolates or cake containing things I'm allergic to. I've never had anaphylactic shock, but I've become very itchy with welts. Oh, that's one level down from it. I won't go into detail too much, but they have given me it anyway and just removed the bits that I'm allergic to. Like they don't understand that won't work. Yeah, they're stupid. I once declined a chocolate at a wedding, different people, because it had nuts. I was polite and explained, and they looked at me like absolute shit and then proceeded to hold out the box until I took one. My husband wasn't there that day as he wasn't in the country, but it felt awkward. My brother and sister-in-law are the worst for being pushy. I'm wondering if they think I'm lying and just being fussy. Even so, I have the right to decline something if it's not to my liking. They are constantly offering drinks and food and snacks. I ended up with 2 different drinks yesterday at one time because they kept forcing more stuff on us. I can't relax around them and they expect us to spend time with them a couple of times a week. Once you get there, you can't leave. We spent 10 hours there last Saturday. I try to be assertive with them and remain polite, but deep down I'm losing my patience. They are so pushy. If you try to make a move to go home, they will question you about what plans you have and why you are leaving. They even suggest sleeping over. I can't explain to them that sometimes you just want to go home and unwind. I also hate sleeping at other people's houses. I have no choice but to put up with them because they're my brother and sister-in-law. No, you don't. You do have a choice. Okay, let me go over this letter because you tripping. You tripping. Okay. You around somewhere and somebody is trying to push some food on you and you say no and they give you a plate with what the item is, you're supposed to say, didn't I just tell you no? And you say it in that tone of voice. What part of no do you not understand? I said no, I'm not gonna eat it. And you say it with that tone of voice. I can see you now being all weak and mousy. Oh no, I have an allergy, this and that. Nobody's gonna listen to you. Put some damn bass in your voice and frown your face up like you mean business. If they get real food, like they try to force it into your head, then knock it the shit to the floor. I said no, God damn it. I'm not gonna eat it and I'm not gonna drink it. Now, the other thing I want to warn you about is when you have people like this that don't believe that you have allergies, they're going to tell you there's something safe and it's not going to be, and you're going to have a reaction. Get you an EpiPen and make sure you carry it with you everywhere you go. I have one. Actually, I have 2. I have one in my car and I have one in my purse. So I can get to it. No matter where I am, I can get to it just in case. Okay? Because after my shrimp moment that took me to the emergency room and almost had me checking up out of here, please. I want to have 5 EpiPens, I swear. I just want to have one just on me everywhere I go. Taking a bath, I want an EpiPen. It was so scary. Okay, so now let's see. So they hold the box and tell you took one. That's what I'm saying. You don't take one. You could have turned and walked away. Why did you just stand there? You don't have to stand there and you don't have to take one. Stop giving in to people. You're teaching them that if they just talk shit enough to you that you'll give in. Don't have any kids because this is the kind of thing that you're going to run into. You will be the worst mother ever. Your kids will never have any discipline or rules. Okay, then your brother and sister-in-law wants to expect you to see them a couple of times a week. Drop that shit down to twice a month. I don't like who you need to see. I don't want to even see myself 2 or 3 times a week. And you seeing them, let your husband go. It's his brother or whatever. Anyway, it's his family. So you stay home or get in your car and go somewhere else where you can have peace. Have lunch with your girlfriends or go to a movie by yourself or something. You don't have to go to their house. If they come to yours, say, well, it's nice to see you guys. And then you leave. Let them be there with your husband. You do that enough times, they'll stop coming around and they'll stop bugging because they'll see you want to be bothered with their asses. And all this explaining, you ready to go, you get your shit and go. Oh my God. I had that on the phone the other day. Okay, this I'm trying to, because it gets dark, right? And since the stroke, I try to walk like every day. It may only be 20 minutes, but I was talking to him, and it was getting to the point where before I could finish, it would be dark outside, and so I'm trying to hurry up and get off the phone so I could take my walk. I need to get off the phone. 10 minutes later, he's still. I said I need to get off the phone so I could take my walk. Oh yeah, and then he just kept talking. So I'm changing clothes and everything. I'm still listening to him because I got to change the stuff anyway. No big deal. Put on my heart rate monitor, all the stuff. Put my shoes on. I said, okay, well, I'm ready to go now. I need to go. 5 minutes later, he's still talking like he just didn't even hear. I said, dude, I've got to go. I'm going to hang up now. I'll talk to you next week. Click. And that was that. I didn't give him a chance to keep me on the phone anymore because now the other time was spent, getting ready. But once I was ready, I'm sitting there on the couch with my shoes on and stuff and getting impatient because he kept fucking talking and wasn't talking about nothing anyway. Well, I move slow, Brian, so it takes me about 10 minutes to get, change. I can't move it like I used to. So it took me, a little bit to get myself together, put on my walking shoes, my walking pants, my socks, and a different shirt and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it was fine. He could still talk, while I was doing that. It was no problem. But since I had warned him that I was getting ready to go for a walk and get ready to hang up, normally people start like winding things up. That's what I thought he was going to be doing while I changed. But then I said, okay, I need it. And he want to still talk. Like, I have to leave now. But anyway, that's what you have to do, lady. You need to get you some cojones and stop just letting these people push you around. I'm not going to nobody's house no 2 or 3 times a week and 10 hours on Saturday. Psh, if you see me for 2, it's a fucking miracle. I try to be in and out in 2 hours. I don't see any reason to be anywhere for more than that. Question number 13, female, 20 to 32. She's an Aries from Perth, Australia. I don't know how to say this politely, so I'm just going to come right out with it. My boyfriend is fucking disgusting. I basically let him use my house for a month as we have a cat together and I was going back home for vacation. I trusted him to keep my house clean as my mom was going to come back with me for a few days to visit. I even told him a few days in advance and even asked if I need to hire a cleaner, and he said he's able to clean no problem. Fast forward to when I arrived with my mom. The house was, quote, cleaned, but on his terms. He actually has filthy ass living habits. Small stains were seen in the corners. In the corners. The room where I put our cat smelled like cat piss, and he had actually used one of the spare bed sheets to wipe the cat piss up with. That sheet has, that sheet is like, last rites. It's never coming back. For the accord, this house is actually rented and it's under my name. I can't believe this. My mother actually left and went to a hotel. Mom was like, I'm not playing with you all. This is such a deal breaker for me. Do I tell him that I don't think we should continue living together due to his atrocious lifestyle, nor even continue this relationship anymore because this just shows he doesn't have any basic respect? Please give me some words. Oh, this is hard. See, I don't know, because I know the fact that you took the time to organize your thoughts and write this letter, you want words that are going to be, like all polite and civil and all this kind of stuff. See, Deb, I don't do that. I would have walked in the house and seen all this shit and like, motherfucker, get your shit and get the fuck out. That would have been me. You nasty freak. You gonna have me bringing my mother up in here in this nasty ass house, get all your shit and get the fuck out. That would have been what he got from me. And here's your fucking ring, and we're not going to continue this relationship. Don't even think about it. I want you out by the next hour. Get out. This is so disrespectful, and you just nasty. I can't do this no more. So that would have been me. So as far as words, I don't know. I can't really help you there. Because I know me. I would have just exploded like a volcano on him. I mean, everything that you said why can't you just say what you wrote here? Just, step by step what you found, what you had asked him, and how he said he was going to clean it, how he didn't, how his habits are nasty, and it was embarrassing for you to the point where your mother wouldn't even stay in your house and went to get to a hotel. I mean, you could do that. And if you can't figure out how to get him out, if you rent it and it's under your name, then give notice. If he doesn't want to leave, give notice to move and pack all your stuff and go move somewhere else where he's not. That's another way to get rid of him. Tell him you're going to move and he can just, take the rental lease or whatever over on his own. That's what you could do too. So either one of those is the best way to do it. But yeah, I think you put all the words that you need right here. It's just a matter of organizing them and speaking them. Question number 14, female 28 to 34, Manhattan, male 35 to 41. I guess he's there too. Oh, wait, and one more thing too. Don't move in with nobody in the future. And let him keep the cat. Now, back to question number 14. My fiance and I, he's 35, I'm 33, if that helps, have been in a relationship for 5 years. We are both from the U.S., but met, live, and work in Asia. I proposed to him in the spring of 2020, and he accepted. Oh. We agreed to move in together in the fall and announced our engagement to our families in their respective countries. We had a very happy and healthy relationship, and we're making long-term goals together. Were, past tense words. Shortly after getting engaged, my single mother became critically ill. I came back to the U.S. alone to care for her in ICU and make medical decisions. She was misdiagnosed and ended up being terminal. I lost her a couple of months later. My extended family was horrible, stole from us, tried to kill our pets, hid important estate mail, and never helped me with anything when I returned to work in Asia. Eventually, I found out they had also stolen my mother's ashes. My emotional, financial, and legal stress was sky high, and I had to handle all of this alone while grieving. My fiance did not help with anything. Wow. He couldn't handle my bereavement and the trauma. He prioritized playing video games and talking to random strangers online over me. I feel like he resented me for not being the happy, bubbly person I usually am. As time went on, I shifted my support system to my friends, healed from most of the trauma, and made a lot of progress on the estate from abroad. I also got my mom's ashes back. Now I can return to the U.S. and place her in the cemetery spot that I had arranged when her ashes were stolen. Throughout this time, I'd asked my fiance to return with me to help with the funeral and any other residual estate issues. He said he would try if he could travel. We talked about this a few times. I've helped him set up a vaccine to get vaccinated and a visa for him to enter the country. She put a whole bunch of other stuff about a vaccine, which nobody cares about. Okay, then it all clicked that he can do these things himself. I'm still dealing with a lot of estate tasks and legal pressure. He can easily do these things himself if he intends to come with me, but I'm realizing now that he never did. It's making me think about other things that he didn't do. I love him so much, yet I also don't know if I can continue a relationship with this man who lied to me for years about intending to come and provide support with my mother's funeral. I don't think he saved a single cent, paid a day off, or even talked to his boss about this. I really needed him. I don't want to be alone at the cemetery. I also don't want to let my mom down. She looked so happy when I told her that we got engaged. However, I am capable of being alone. Should I leave this relationship? Is there any way to salvage it? I feel like I can't salvage this alone. I would say no, because you figured, okay, you went there. He never joined you. You came back and he was handling all this stuff. So then he didn't have to go anywhere. He could have just pitched in and helped you from afar with faxes, emails, phone calls, whatever you needed. But he didn't do that either. And then now you're going to be going back to, to place her in the ground and have your little burial ceremony and stuff. And you asked him to come with it. He ain't made no moves to do that either. So to me, the 3 strikes, that's you out. He left you completely on your own for one of the most traumatic things that a child can go through is burying their parent. I would be through with him. And then he gonna sit up there and play video games? Oh, hell no. No. I mean, what you need to do is, if you have any valuables in the house, before you leave to go to the funeral, take them out of the house, put them in a safe deposit box or something like that. Important papers, credit card statements, stuff like that. Put a stop on your mail with the post office. Put it in so it starts, a couple of days before you leave, so all your mail is being held somewhere that only you can pick it up. And then you go to the U.S., do what you need to do, and come back. So when you leave, though, after you've gotten taken care of all this business, right, all this, any financials that you have commingled with his, separate your accounts, do everything, all the groundwork before you get on that plane to go back and bury your mama. When you get ready to go, You turn to him and say, I'm going to go to the U.S. I'll be gone for a week. When I get back, I want your fucking ass up out of my house. This relationship is over. I can see he's just there for the good times and some ass. That's what he's there for. This is not a partner. It's nobody you can even depend on. When the chips are down and your back is up against the wall, he just abandons you. This is no kind of man that you should ever put your trust in. And if you had any kind of health crisis or something like that, he would do the same thing to you. So understand the handwriting on the wall and just deuce out now before something like that happens. And find yourself someone else, okay? Find you somebody who understands what a partnership really is. Because this guy's all about himself. Question number 15. We have 25 questions today for those who are listening to What the Fuck Tuesday. What the Fuck Tuesday. Take a minute and hit that subscribe button. If you want to get your letter on the show, that's how you do it. There, down in the show description below, there's a link, or you can navigate to debsterism.com, and the form is there as well. Question 15. Okay, she is 22 to 27, Capricorn from Atlanta. Oh, dust capital of the USA. The man in question is the same age group, 22 to 27, and he's an Aquarius. I'm 24 and my boyfriend is 27. Back in April, after 4 months of dating, I told him that he needs to stop talking completely to his ex, as it's a deal breaker for me. It's either me or her. He said he will stop. But recently, I was on my boyfriend's iPad drawing and wanted to send the art to myself. I clicked to share, and his ex-girlfriend popped up. I asked him if they had been talking, and he said no. Then I asked several more times, and he said no, no, no. He then showed me their chat to prove he had no messages. I could tell that he was lying, so I asked him again, and then he eventually admitted that he only talked to her once and that it was innocent, and he deleted it because he did not want me to overthink it. Then I had a crazy fit and told him to prove it to me. He basically ended up asking his ex for the screenshots. Yeah, it was nothing bad, but apparently he's been texting and replying to her messages since I asked him to stop. I think this is a very embarrassing situation. On top of the fact that he also accidentally bumped into her once in real life and told her that they needed to stop talking frequently because I don't want them to. I don't know if I can trust this person anymore. How can I? Okay, let's rewind to when you said at 4 months into the relationship, it's either me or her. He said he will stop. He didn't stop. Now you at the point where you know he didn't stop. You have proof that he didn't stop. And you sitting up here asking me what you should do. Let me explain how this is going to go. If you don't get rid of him now, what you will have taught him is that you don't mean shit you say. And that he can do whatever the hell he wants to, and nothing's going to happen, nothing's going to change, because you just selling wolf tickets and running your mouth. You don't mean the word you say. You just all bluff and bluster. The only way that you can handle this and maintain the level of respect that you're looking for and maintain the boundaries that you tried to put in place is to say, look, I told you at 4 months in that was either me or her. You lied to my face and told me that you were going to stop. And I don't care if it was 1 time, 10 times, if it's innocent or not. You said you would stop. And I told you it was me or her. No, completely cut contact with her. That's not what happened. So I want you to get your shit and get out. This relationship is over. That's what you're supposed to do. Why can't more women do that? I don't understand. Y'all want to lay down all these rules and boundaries and stuff, and then you don't stick to it. So you just talking smack. And once a guy figures out that that's how you are, that there's no repercussions for what he can do what he wants to. Oh, honey, the games begin. And you can't say nothing, because if he says, well, last time it was okay last time, so why are you tripping this time? And you know what? You're going to be sitting there with your mouth hanging open looking stupid because it'll be true. So, yeah. But you went through all these links to put all these hard lines in the sand. See, that's what I'm talking about. So for you, if you don't cut this off right now, he's going to fuck over you the rest of the relationship. Be ready. Question number 16. This is a young lady in the 28 to 34 age group from Austin, Texas. She is a Scorpio. Says, hey, Deb, this is a question that I had from your Crushing a Woman's Self-Esteem and Confidence video. What would you suggest to do if it were women who are deploying these tactics, especially in the workplace? They seem to be more slick about it and play these horrible emotional games that slowly break me down. A lot of passive-aggressive comments, micromanaging, controlling, gaslighting, ostracism, and sabotage under the guise of helping me to try to knock me off my game at work when I'm professional and perform very well. Basically, grown up, insecure, mean girls type of environment, the type of people you can't win with. I've had to handle men that have tried to drag my self-esteem down, and it doesn't affect me emotionally thanks to your videos. But the psychological damage that other women that do this to me has gotten me close to the edge several times because they're, see, sirens again. I swear, only when I'm doing my show. Because they are very manipulative and sneaky and do underhanded things if I don't stand up for myself. That makes me nervous because I can't tell what's going to come next. On one hand, I want to cuss them out so bad because my patience eventually wears down. And on the other, I feel I just have to roll over and take it because there's nothing I can really do. And I know they want a reaction out of me to try to get me fired. I am also a black woman dealing with this. What's the dead way to handle and protect myself so it doesn't emotionally affect me? That's hard. Because they are going to be going out of their way. And it's a setup, too, because a lot of these employers, like if you want to do your stuff yourself and don't want any help from anybody, well, you're not a team player. So then they want, they want to rib you for that. So it's like you can't win. With, them under the guise of helping you, just say, no, I'll figure it out myself. That's one. Just don't accept any help from them. That's one. What else did you say? Passive aggressive comments. Well, don't you know how to do that too? Do it back. They do it to you, do it back. Pick on something about them that they're sensitive about. Their weight, their height, their looks, their man cheating, their whatever, their big nose, whatever they have. I mean, you can look at them and read them and figure out what it is that they're sensitive about. Their clothes is too tight because they gain weight. Whatever it is. And you just passive aggressive on that. As I said, since you identified yourself as a black woman, I'm assuming that these other women are not black. And this is the kind of stuff that's going on. They tend to be very sensitive about how they look and their bodies and stuff. So that's always a perfect target. The micromanaging, controlling, unless they're your supervisor, they don't need to be telling you shit. That's what I would tell. That's what I always would do, is to tell when they start trying to tell me what to do. It's like, did I miss the memo where you became my supervisor? Well, I'm just trying to help. I don't need your help. If I need your help, I'll ask you for it. The gaslighting, I don't know what you mean. Ostracism, who gives a shit? You don't want to be hanging around with them anyway. Unless it's something work-related. In case if it's work-related, then, of course, you write a memo. You send it to email, and you send it to everybody, including your supervisor. Say, oh, this and that. I became aware of this. I'm not sure who you assigned to let the team know about this, but I was not included in that loop and such. So, you document it, and you send it to the supervisor, who's the one who most likely made that assignment. Okay, that's one thing. Sabotage, yeah, this is the helping me. No, you don't let them help you. Make sure you lock your desk. Or take your shit with you every day in a little tote bag so they can't get to it. I don't know. The one time, I mean, I've had several situations where they do this kind of stuff, but the worst one was this lady. Oh, she drove me crazy at this law firm, and she sat right next to me. And she must have went and telling on me in the HR, like every day. It was something, the HR director. And then the day she came and she gave me this thing, a printout of my, because at a law firm, you got to code calls. It's supposed to be billed to an account. So if it's, related account. So I had some numbers where I didn't bother doing that because I was calling the court clerk or something like that. I'm like, whatever. Or, the messenger service, that kind of stuff. So you can see the numbers, repetitive numbers on there. She gives me this printout and tells me she wants me to go through it and highlight the numbers that are my personal calls. This is the HR director now. And I looked at her, I said, are you giving everybody this, or are you only giving it to me? She says, well, I'm giving it to you. I said, oh, and I gave it back to her. I said, well, I'm not doing this then. And so then she's like, well, I want you to do it. I said, and I'm telling you I'm not going to. Because you're trying to, you singling me out to know something about what goes on my phone. I'm not going to do that. So then what could she do? Because it was, it's illegal to single me out and I'm the only black one up in there. And you're going to be having me doing something so you can micromanage me. And we're not doing that. So that didn't go over too well. She was mad, and then she had a vendetta out for me after that. And I'm like, okay, I got something for y'all asses. And so then this same white girl is going to sit up there and run and tell, I forgot what she made up, some other story. It was completely fabricated. Oh no, I know what it was. I was on the phone laughing, and she ran and told them that I was on a personal call. And what I really was talking to was one of the judge's clerks who had been out on maternity leave. I mean, you working on a litigation case for a year or two. You know what I mean? You have contact with the opposing counsel staff, with the judge's staff, with the court staff. You talk to these people all the time because this case is ongoing. So the lady had a baby. So I'm like, oh, how's your baby? This and that, blah, blah, blah. Because my daughter was real young at that time, right? So we used to just swapping mommy stories and every, childbirth and labor stories and stuff. So I'm laughing because she was funny as hell. That's what it was. I remember now. And so then she goes and says, I'm on a personal call, right? So the HR director comes back and she's trying to jam me up. So I give her the phone and then she's like, who is this? This is Judge so-and-so's clerk, whatever her name was. And so then she's just sitting with her face red. I was like, I can't be friendly with the people in the court? Is that what you're trying to tell me? So she looked stupid then. So when they left, I went to that little girl. I remember the line from Superfly where he said, he knew where his big leg daughter went to school or worked. So, I mean, that kind of thing, knew where somebody lived. But I switched around because I knew where her niece went to preschool. I knew where her mother lived because I made it my business to snoop through her Rolodex and figure it out. I knew where her husband worked, and I knew where her brother and sister-in-law and their kids lived too. So I went over to her desk when there wasn't nobody around because I scanned the air to make sure nobody was around. And then I went up to her and I said, look, I'm going to tell you something. You're going to leave me the fuck alone. And she's like, well, you just, I said, let me tell you something because I know where your niece go to preschool. I know where your mama lives with her old ass. I know where your brother and sister and their kids live. I know where you live. I know where your husband works. Now, what you think I'm going to do with that information if you keep fucking with me, bitch? You can keep it up. And then I went set back to my desk. She ran into HR. Oh, I was just talking about it now. I could feel that fury because I was hot, but I couldn't touch her. So I had to scare her to death. So she ran to the same HR lady, said I threatened her. I'm sitting at my desk. Honey, put on the Academy Award winning performance. She came over to my desk. I'm sitting there working on this document that I already had on the screen. And she's like, did you just threaten her? I said, what? Who? She said you threatened her. I'm like, I don't know when y'all gonna get rid of this chick because she's delusional. She's always making up something about me. Remember the last week when she was talking about I was on a personal call and it was a court clerk? She just makes up stuff. I don't know what to tell you. You really need to check her about that and write her up about it because this is kind of moving over into workplace harassment. And I go back to do. And so what could she do? Because there was no witnesses. I made sure of it. But after that, that bitch left me alone. Stupid troll bitch. She got on my goddamn nerves. And every time she would look at me after that, she was scared. And I would do like this. I was just fucking with her at that point. I'm doing like this. And so she would just be like shivering at her desk. She was so scared. But I was just being an asshole at that point. Because, I wasn't going to really do nothing. But I made it sound like I was. Scared the fuck out of that hoe. Shit. But yeah. I thought I was well played too. I was patting myself all over the back. It's like, but then I got that idea from Superfly, from the movie. It was my mother's favorite movie, and so we used to be forced to watch it. I probably saw that movie 100 times, the original one with Ron O'Neal. My mother would watch it all the time. So yeah, so I pulled that line out, reworked it, and used it. So let's move on. Having my story that got me mad all over again. Shit, that was 20 years ago. Question number 17. This is a female in the 28 to 34 age group from Brighton, East Sussex in the UK. I don't even know where to start, but I need help with my 11-year-old son. He actually is a lovely boy. He's very caring and helpful. My friends always commenting about how sweet and kind he is. I worked out a few months ago that he tells lies. Just silly little lies, but I explain how it makes me feel, how wrong lying is, and how it makes the other person feel, etc. But today he went to the park to play and saw someone from school who had a penknife, played with it, and lied about it. It's the lies that bug me. They're so extravagant. We talked to him again about lying. He promised that he would never do it. Also, there has been money going missing for a while. I then asked, have you been stealing Mummy's money? He started crying and said yes. Turns out it's about 400 pounds. How about you know how much that is in US dollars? We spent it on PlayStation vouchers, sweets, and drinks for him and his friends. And this has been going on for months. I'm so disappointed and angry. What would you do if this was your son? I would beat his ass. See, I know you, the way you wrote this, I can tell that you're not the kind, you don't believe in corporal punishment. I done told you before, we tried the nice way to talk to you and stuff. You said you wasn't gonna do it, and then you didn't. I would be beating his little ass. And he would have every chore in the world to do. He would be feeling like his name was fucking Kunta Kinte when the time I got through with him. That's how much of a slave he would be. He would be doing everything in the house. I don't give a fuck. 11 years old, that's strong enough to do everything. He could do it, and he would be doing everything. You know why? Because you're too tired to lie now. You can't do nothing. Your arms is too tired from working to play with a PlayStation. Oh no. And you would let him have video games and stuff. Oh no, all that shit would be sold. You don't need to get PlayStation game because you don't have a PlayStation. You're grounded. You ain't going nowhere with your gum. I'm gonna drop you off at school and I'm gonna pick your ass up. And then I'm gonna beat your ass every time I hear you lie again. I'm gonna beat your ass again. Now you asking how I would do it, that's how I would do it. I'm not gonna play the one thing. $550? Are you kidding? This kid done stole $550 from his mother? Oh, hell no. I would be beating his little ass. They would have to call Child Protective Services to get me off of that kid. $500? Oh, no. No, no, no. So, lady, I don't know. I can't really tell you because my style of parenting is very straight-laced. I'm not taking no shit from no kid. I catch you in the one lie. Okay, we're going to have a conversation. We'll do that. But I will tell you then, because I always warn my daughter or any kids I babysit, if you do this again, this is what's going to happen. And then I would follow through with what I said I was going to happen. Either I'm going to take all your shit, I'm going to beat your ass, you going home, I'm not babysitting you, you're not the trip I was going to take you on to Disneyland, you ain't going, stuff like that. We was going to Marine World, nope, I'm taking your ass home, you're not going, because little badass kids don't get to go to Marine World. Stuff like that. I would show kids I meant business. They'd be in the car crying their eyes out. I don't give a fuck. I'm about to spend $50, $60 of my money to take your ass to have a good time, and that's the best you could do. You gonna go home and be with your parents. That's what you gonna do. Yeah, my daughter learned because she did some fucked up shit about her homework and stuff and came with some bad grades. I lost my mind. I went in her room and put my famous hefty bags and I bagged up every toy in that room, every book. She didn't have nothing in there to play with except her fingers. She didn't have shit in that room. All the balls, everything. And I said, now you don't have nothing else to do but your homework and schoolwork. That's it. Because you don't have no more distractions. And so she was crying her eyes out. But I said, the way you can earn them back. But if you don't get these grades up by the next report card, I'm going to take this shit and give it away to the church. So she got her grades up. And I said, now that you did that and you concentrate, they need to stay up because that's your job as a child. I go to work to make the money. You go to school to get the grades. That's the deal we have here. Anytime you don't want to do that, then you got to get the fuck out of my house. But I'm only 12. I don't give a fuck. Did I have to say, what's that got to do with me going to work every day? I'm doing what I'm doing. You need to do what you're doing too. So yeah, she learned real quick. That room was bare and you could have an echo up in that bitch. She was like, oh my God, this woman is crazy. But I meant it. I had her in a private school. I'm paying all this tuition and you're going to come in here with some fucked up grades? Oh no, we're not doing that. So yeah, that was wild. She just went, I don't know what she was thinking, but she learned real quick. Yeah, I don't. Diana's right. I just don't. I just that play gene is just not in me. I'll play around with people and stuff and everything else. That's what we're doing. But if it's something about my money, some obligation or responsibility that you have to me and you not meeting it, or something like that, now I'm not playing with you. We're gonna have a problem. So question number 18, female, 28 to 34. She's a Gemini. No location provided. Female, 42 to 49. Dear Deb, I have this 46-year-old female friend who is a native to the country I am currently studying in. We have been friends for 8 years. She is someone I respect and who has helped me get an apartment in the country I am in where I have no family or close friends. Lately, we have been hanging out in clubs. Last night, we were outside and two handsome men around my age speaking my language, and we started talking. Turns out they are national athletes of my home country who compete abroad. I decided to show them around and we went to a club. My friend is drunk, and me and my other friends and the two guys feel like it's best if she goes home by taxi instead of by bicycle like she wants. Impossible to convince her to go by taxi. Shouldn't let her drunk ass be on the bike. What's the problem? Finally, she decides to follow me to the club in the taxi, except that she completely loses it during the trip. I'm in the middle between the athletes and her, making friendly conversation about my studies and what I'm doing here. She interrupts us to say that we should speak English or the local language, that she does not like people from our country. Oh, and that when the athlete pays the taxi, she says his card is a fake one because foreigners are frauds. Okay, remember what I was, the video, in case you haven't seen that, I did a short, was it 3 minutes or something, about what happens when people drink and how they try to act like it's not who they really are. Perfect example. She sings and talks louder and louder so we can't even hear each other. I'm shook, Deb. Meanwhile, the youngest of the two guys loses his temper and starts filming her erratic behavior. She flipped out and grabbed his phone, and I'm in the middle, scared, trying to separate them. Then I tell him to delete the video, and he complies, so you think. We get out of the taxi, and that's when I lose my temper at her. I'm super angry and asking her why the F she wants to fight with an athlete. That is a good question. She is like, I'm older than you, and you shouldn't speak to me like that. I reply, but you act like a child. Also, she tells me that she doesn't want me to be with these guys, basically acting like I need to be saved from them or something, which angered me more. I noticed that she tried to find a reason to go after the guy who tried recording her, even if he already left and disengaged. Anyway, she finally sobered up, and I put her in a taxi. She expected me to follow her back home. I looked at her and told her I'm going to do what I want, and then she walked off. The rest of the night, I actually had a super pleasant time with the athletes who behaved like gentlemen. I sent her a message to say that I simply wanted her to get back home safely, and I hope she takes care. She left me on read since then. Deb, how would you have handled that situation? She wouldn't have been in the cab with me. She want to ride her bike? Bye, bitch. That's a grown woman. She older than you. Who are you to try to dictate what she do? I mean, I know you want her to be safe and all that kind of stuff, but if she's grown and she's making the decision that she want to ride her bike, then that's her decision. Exactly. Somebody wrote, girl, that's Ravania. Girl, bye. Exactly. That would have been me. Girl, bye. And we would have hopped in a cab, me and the other people, the other friends and the athletes, and went on about our business. And she just would have been riding her bicycle drunk. What you want from me? That's not my problem. But this lady sounds like, the vibe I'm getting, like she likes you, like romantically. She's jealous. She was jealous that these guys were paying attention to you and you were paying attention back and not to her. So she's trying to run interference. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I think she's attracted to you. She may not even be aware of it herself, but her response, her reactions is like a jealous lover. So be careful with this chick. Now, she left you on read and she's not really talking to you. You might want to let that stay. Because you are acquainted with the place now. You can get around by yourself and you don't really need her. And she sounds like she's more trouble than she's worth. Question number 19, female, 18 to 21, Seattle, Washington. My boyfriend, 23, and I, 21, have been together for 3.5 years now. We have lived together for almost the entirety of our relationship. We work in the same field, share finances, and our lives are generally very intertwined. You're dumb. He is a supportive partner, and I think he's a really great person outside of this, which is why I am so lost. For the past 2-ish years, I have found myself bringing up the same issue quite frequently across our relationship. These issues involve a lack of intimacy and for him to plan dates or quality time together, as I have always done all of that. About 2 months ago, I had a long conversation with a good friend about where I was at in my relationship. And I had a moment where it clicked and realized I shouldn't constantly feel like I'm not receiving my needs from my partner. My boyfriend and I are often very good communicators, so the prior scenarios where I had brought these issues up were calm conversations, as we don't feel the need to argue. I would rather have productive conversations. I'd receive a yes, I'll work on that each time, but not much would change and the cycle would continue. Over the last few months and asking again a few more times, I was reaching a breaking point because nothing would improve. I finally had a more emotionally driven conversation and bawled my eyes out. Since that talk, though, we've started arguing far more frequently, and this is where the new issue comes in. Each time we get into these arguments, he gets very defensive, mean, and hurtful, and has started to say things he later claims he didn't actually mean, but his words are really sticking with me. Some examples I've included: you don't love yourself. You're just sad and miserable all the time. Oh, wow, he said that to you? It takes too much work to love you. You're probably cheating on me. In what world would you ever think that you could be more successful than I am? Wow. There are a million things I don't like about you, but I deal with them. Wow. And you still there? Maybe I'm sensitive and these aren't too bad, but I'm getting really caught on him because he has never spoken to me this way before. It don't matter. He's doing it now. That means your relationship now is fucked up. That's what that means. And once they start telling you that you're cheating on them, that means they're cheating on you. Because otherwise that wouldn't have come into the conversation. After the arguments, I let him know that saying these things about me is not okay. And he always apologizes for being mean and says it's not a reflection of his real feelings. But in these moments, his words come across to me like built up resentment. Okay, so anyway, it's breaking havoc on her self-esteem. She needs an outside perspective. It's making me feel anxious. Advice is welcome. Okay, she wrote this way too much. I skimmed over it. Bottom line, your needs aren't getting met. He's not screwing you. He's screwing somebody. That's why he flipped around. I just thought of that. Just remembered that rather. He's flipping it around to say you're probably cheating on him when it's still him cheating on you, which is why he don't want to sleep with you no more. So you would do better. He's gotten to the point now where he wants you to break up with him. He don't want to be the bad guy. So he started talking to you crazy and, doing stuff that's damaging to you and insulting and demeaning and degrading. And you still there. So what I'm going to suggest you do is understand what time it is. The relationship that you have with him is over. He's too scared to do the breaking up. He's waiting for you to get a fucking clue and have some self-respect and self-esteem and confidence about yourself and then leave him alone. That's what he's waiting for you to do. So do it. Question number 20, female, 22 to 27 from Atlanta. My FWB of 1 year made it clear in a recent conversation that even though he did have feelings for me, he was sure that they aren't romantic. I had run into his mother a few times when I was over his place, but soon after this conversation, he made plans to go to the movies with me and his mom. Recently, he planned for the three of us to go out to dinner, and his mother told me some really personal things about him and always asks about my life and shares about her own for hours. She knows about us and is cool with it. I have feelings for him and I express it to him, but I'm unable to understand what exactly he wants, since I would understand if this happened a long time after our conversation and he had time to change his mind. Ooh, girl, long ass sentence. I never agreed to these plans prior, but found out on arrival. He did accept that this is not a common thing, and he's never done anything like this with a friend or FWB before. He's 25 and I'm 21. Sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier. What do you think of this situation? How should I handle these requests? You don't know how to say no? Okay, so he goes somewhere and his mother's there. You say, oh, I'm sorry. I had no idea it was going to be a party of three. Was assuming it was just going to be the two of us, and it was nice to see you, but I'm going to just deuce out. Y'all enjoy your evening. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. And then you go on back out the door, right? You drove yourself there. Get in your car and go home. You're not stuck there. You're not an indentured servant. Go home. Okay, you go out somewhere and he makes plans to go out to dinner. You don't want to go to dinner with him and his mama. Go home. And you should have a conversation with him like, this is all cute and everything, but you're sending a mixed message here. Let's have one accord. Are we FWBs or are we gonna be dating? You need to make up your mind, because you hopping back and forth over the fence and hanging out with your mother and all this old bullshit. Ain't nobody trying to do all of that. And I'm just here for the dick. Okay, just understand. That's all I'm here for. So all this other stuff you trying to do, you need to figure out what's the meaning of all of that, and then call me and let me know. You don't let no man run you like this, and you all confused and stuff. As soon as he started that stuff, you were supposed to put your foot down and check him and make him stop. If that's not what you want to do. Now, if that is what you want to do, then you say, what, you supposed to be my boyfriend now? You better ask me formally and solidify this shit. Otherwise, I'm going to keep fucking around with other people too, because I'm single. Let him know. So, yeah, this is a very bizarre. He's just doing too much. But you letting him do it. So both of y'all is acting stupid. Question number 21, female, 22 to 27 from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Deb, I need to get your thoughts on why I always end up in situations where I like the guy more than he likes me. I feel confused because they always reach out first. They offer dates and everything, but after a while it's all over. I've been told things like, you are too intense. You like me more than I like you, and it scares me. It really is frustrating, though. I feel like something they conquer or an itch they had to scratch. Okay. Now, you know what that means? That means that after they, hang out with you, you call them too much. You text them too much. You good morning them too much. You good night them too much. Or what you doing too much. You're doing too much. That's what that means. So that they can tell that you are way more into them than they are you. When you just meet somebody, girlfriend, you just met them. You don't have any relationship with them. You don't chase them. You don't text them. You don't call them. You don't do anything. If he reaches out to you, you respond, right? But you don't chase men. You don't put forth all this energy to see what he's doing and where he is and when you're going to see him next time and all this old shit. Reading between the lines, I can tell that's what you're doing. That's the way you express that you like them. Might even be buying them gifts and stuff. Some of you girls just really do the most. And dating, when you date somebody, it's supposed to be over. Either it advances or it ends. That's the thing. That's how it is. That's the cycle of dating. You meet somebody, you go out a time or 2 or 3. I mean, sometimes you don't even get that as a phone call and you realize it's stupid and you deuce out before you even get to go out. But if they make it to the cut where you at least go out with them a time or 2 or 3, and then they decide after that, this is not really what I'm looking for. That's what you were supposed to be doing, assessing him. Like, look at some of the videos on here, like vetting, the one called Vetting Men, and look at the one, what is it? Never Chase a Man. I think there's a title, or it might be called something else. I can't remember. But anyway, just look through the archives and listen up and take notes, so you know how to use. Oh yeah, control your emotions. That's another one that you need. This you're too intense. You like me? Yeah, see, too much, too emotional. Oh, poor thing. Question number 22. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Chesapeake, Virginia. I'm writing about a situation that happened about a year ago. What happened was my boyfriend / fiance pushed me and placed his palm around my neck during an argument. When I was crying hysterically, he put his hand around my neck and said he would beat me up. And he still got that hand? The push was a mild push, not enough to make me fall. And his palm was placed around my neck. In no way was he gripping my neck. So he was pressing, sounds like. During this time, I wasn't scared he would actually follow through with the threat of beating me up. I knew for a fact that he wouldn't beat me up, and he didn't. We had been having a fight, and he wanted to leave his dorm room, we're resident doctors, and go upstairs to my room and wanted my room key. He was trying to pry it out of my hand, wanting to leave, but I was begging him to stay. I was also inconsolably crying. He also threatened to throw me out of the room in my underwear. I called off my engagement with him. This happened a month after we got engaged. Wow, he didn't waste no time showing his ass, huh? Fast forward to now. We still see each other, but I'm not sure something inside me has fractured. He's changed for the better and we hardly ever fight. He's calm during fights and knows how to resolve them. But I'm not able to give myself fully to this relationship because of this incident. I mention this to him at times, and he says I keep holding on to the past. What are your thoughts about this, Deb? I'm thinking you made a huge error in judgment in which you call off the engagement, but you're supposed to also call off the relationship. You don't let some man treat you like that and you stay with him. You still sleeping with him. You still loving him. You still cooking for him. You still doing everything else with him, providing him your conversation companionship. No. You get exactly one time to mistreat me. One. But you sticking around for more, talking about, well, he's changed for the better. I bet you he wasn't like that before that moment either. So you don't know what he's changed. I'm going to tell you this. The fact that he did it, and he's a resident doctor, so if he got on any kind of like domestic violence charge, he would lose his ability to become a doctor. So that might be what he remembered. But, once he becomes one, he passes his boards and then gets all the stuff, then, don't be surprised if you have an instant replay. I think you stuck on the fact that he's going to be a doctor and you're going to be a doctor and you're going to be the doctor couple. You're not looking at the man that you would be marrying here to be with. I would say this guy is too high risk. He's too high risk because men who are not violent don't do things like that. So he has, a violent streak, and it's going to come out at very odd, weird times. Guys who don't have violent streaks don't behave like this. If anything, if he was getting, a little worked up, he would leave the room and leave you there and walk around and calm down. He would not attack you. So, you trying to mitigate it. Well, I didn't really fall down, and I wasn't scared he was going to this and that. That's not the point. The point is what he did to you in an area where if he had gripped you, it could kill you. So I'm thinking you're being pretty stupid right now, and you need to leave this clown alone. Let's move on. Question number 23. This is a young man in the 22 to 27 age group. He's an Aries. He's from Amarillo, Texas. Hey, Deb, I was dating a girl for 5 months. I thought it was going great. I saw her most weekends, didn't argue, good eggplant, talked all the time. I told her how much I liked her. She was happy to be with me, too. So many dates, pretty much every time I saw her, I planned something new. It was an exclusive relationship. Okay, 5 months. But 5 months later, she told me out of the blue, I don't think this is going anywhere. It's over. She said she didn't think I was that into it. She's confused, and I'm upset. She doesn't know why. 2 weeks later, she's on hand saying that she wants kids in a long-term relationship. I feel so shocked. I feel embarrassed to have said sorry to her. Maybe I should have done more. To that, she would say I should air my feelings, but I should air my feelings out if I feel like that, like a stranger. When I asked how she thought I wasn't that into it, she said I'm annoying her and hasn't said a word to me since. Why? Do you have any insight for me? Well, dude, 5 months, I know you was attached and stuff, but that's not really long enough to be too worked up about it. Chances are, it's had to be one of two things. Either something happened and she realized that you were not really the man for her. You did or said something happened, your family maybe, I don't know. Something that put her off and she decided she didn't want to go to the next level with you. Or she met somebody else that she likes better. It's one of them two things. You would have to think about which one it is. But, the fact that, she's gone, so don't worry about it. And it was a short-term thing. It was only 5 months. So don't worry about it too much. I know that's not going to be real helpful because you seem like you really like this little girl. But, unless it's mutual, it's not going to work anyway. So think about what happened, say the 2 week period leading up to this announcement. Go over everything that happened in a conversation that you guys had. And I think you'll figure it out. Question number 24 of 25. Female, 22 to 27. She's a Pisces from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So I've been on 7 dates so far with this new guy, but every time he will talk about his exes. Oh my God, what the fuck? I don't talk so much about my exes except my last one. So last time I also talked about my last relationship, and he jokingly asked me if I consider him a rebound. I said no, but for me it was a fresh relationship and a recent breakup. We were together since 1 month ago when we broke up. But this guy keeps bringing up people from his past. I feel like seriously advise him as a friend to try to go back to his longest ex because he will never be fully able to emotionally invest in another person if he can't move on. Also, I'm not taking him seriously, just an easy remedy for me to feel better from my last relationship, as I haven't seen him really focused on me as well. Is it a fucked up situation? Should I see him again or try it for another person? Other than that, he's very kind and he always takes me on nice dates and expensive restaurants, compliments me and stuff. But something inside me feels like it's fake. I'm not sure. Maybe I cannot really trust him. I don't know. I await your and the squad's comments. I'm going to say this. Why would you go on a date with a man 7 times and all he want to talk about is some other bitch? That would not work for me. Nope. And I'm wondering why you sit there and let him do it. Why don't you say, look, don't you think that, since I'm the woman sitting in your face, that I don't really want to hear about you and what happened with you with some other bitches? And I would say it just like that, bitches. So he would understand, I don't give a fuck. You broke up and just, so where's the hoes now? They obviously wasn't that great because you still be with them. So don't need to be sitting up here running your mouth and talking about these cows over and over and over. I don't feel like hearing all that shit. Talk about something else. I mean, that's just, he's doing too much. And you just letting him. So, if you can't bring it up to him, which I think I would do, is say, look, I'm not going to see you no more because the conversation that we always have is revolves around your exes. And I know more about them than I do you. So there's no point in continuing this nightmare that you want to call a dating relationship. Boop, boop, and be out. Okay, and here's our last question of the day. And oh my God, it goes on forever. Look at this damn book. Who wrote this long letter? Female, 18 to 21, sees Cancer from Phoenix, Arizona. The male, 18 to 21-year-old Scorpio. I've been seeing this guy for a while, and we have been taking it slow because of my preference. I guess it's her preference to be slow. I was cautious with him at first because he had a reputation as a player. But we have been getting to know each other really well, and he's told me all about some of his issues and fears. Oh, did he now? And I feel like I really know him now. We haven't become physical yet because I was afraid at first of being used by him because of his reputation as a player. But now I know him really well, and it is heading in that direction. However, recently we were having a conversation, and suddenly he broke down and started getting emotional and said, if anything bad happens between us, just know it was my fault. He's good. Oh, this little motherfucker right here. I was shocked and surprised and started comforting him because, oh, girl, you need to, you've been on this channel to know these kind of silly games, because I felt bad for how sad he looked. Little girl. Okay, let me finish reading this letter. I told him that wasn't true and I have my flaws as well. But the more I think about it, and from watching your videos, I started thinking that maybe that's a line. Oh, thank you, Jesus. That he's trying to use to prepare me because maybe he has intentions of using me physically and then tossing me away and moving on. We've been seeing each other for a few weeks now and not done the full deed, but have done other things. And he hasn't asked to become monogamous yet, but I feel he has strong emotions for me. But now I'm wondering if he's faking it or putting on a vulnerable act to get me into bed. Ding, ding, ding. We have talked about his own traumas, and I feel I know him really well. But he's never had a relationship, but has slept with many women. And I worry that this is some rehearsed line because he seems to be really smooth with women and is very attractive. I don't want to be played, and I would love to know how much I should believe his emotions. You know the head of a pen, like a stick pen, which you have to really see with like an electron microscope. Imagine 1/100th of that. That's how much of you should believe his fake ass emotions. This motherfucker don't have no emotions. He's just pulling out. The first weeks he spent around you, and you listen to all his trauma sob stories and made up bullshit, and he could look at your face. Remember, I told you, you haven't looked at the videos. If you looked, you haven't been paying attention to what I said. They look at you. You're going to be sitting there thinking that he's just transfixed with your wonderful beauty and he's just all in love and stuff. He's reading you. That's what they do. They study you like a fucking bug under a microscope. So he's telling you all this shit and he's looking at you to see how you eating it up and what effect it's having on you. How your eyes change, how your eyes dilate. If you look like you're going to cry, if your breathing changes. If you look sad. If you care, if you reach out to hold his hand or want to pat him up or hug him and stuff. That's what they're looking for. And the fact that I know she's young. Yeah, Mo, she's young, y'all. She's only in the 18 to 21 age group. She's a baby. So she don't know. But I have to give her credit. She did have enough sense to say, wait a minute. Seemed like I heard this on the video somewhere. So she did, she did catch she caught something. So she's not a total lost case yet. But little girl, I'm going to tell you this right now. Anytime a man, because, okay, they start coming in the gate with these sob stories, that tells you right there that he ain't about shit. Because when men really want to impress a woman, which is their goal, if they want to come in the gate and like let you see their masculinity, their strength, their togetherness, how he handles shit, how he moves, how he solves problems, how he is just a mover and a shaker, all this kind of stuff. They're not going to come in there telling you their weaknesses, their foibles, and their traumas. So anytime a man you just met starts spilling his guts like that, understand this the game is being run. and they're testing you, like I said, to see if you're going to eat it up. So when they start talking all that stuff, you know what Deb does? I say, why are you telling me that? I don't care. How could you not care? Because I don't. That's some shit that happened in the past, don't have shit to do with me. Let's talk about today and tomorrow, and let's talk about me. Let's do that. What you gonna do for me? That's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear about what you did for other bitches and how they broke your heart and all that old dragon drama, because I don't give a fuck. It's like, how's that gonna help me to hear what you did for some other bitch and how she dogged you out? Please understand, it ain't that kind of party. If that's what you want to do, you need to go find somebody else who might give a fuck about that shit, because that ain't me. That's not over here. So, young lady, I mean, I'm not saying you have to use my language because, of course, at your age, I didn't talk like that either, but I still would put folks in check. But now I just don't give a damn. And I just say whatever the hell I feel like saying, the way I feel like saying it. And it's usually full of profanity. Yeah, I just give no fucks anymore. I don't want to hear it. And you all thought I was bad before. Let me tell you, since I had this stroke, my bullshit meter has like shrunken by at least 80%. I am just not down with it at all. Not one word of shit do I want to hear. Because it's nothing like when you figuring out, wow, I could have really died. And that realization you could have checked the fuck up out of here, and then people going to come in your life with some bullshit and you don't know how much time you have left. You don't do it. Your whole strategy and perspective changes about things. She's a baby. She's 18 to 21, so she's just really getting started. She's not thinking like that, and at that age, I didn't either. But I think like that now, and I'm not letting no motherfucker, male or female, come in my life and waste my time. I'm not gonna do that. Yes, we do use colorful language on this channel, Mary Elizabeth. You know that. We speak the rainbow. But this understand what time it is here. See, once you start, you start petting him. What did you say? I was shocked and surprised, and I started comforting him. That was it. You sealed your fate with that move. You were supposed to sit there and laugh at him. That's what you're supposed to do. If anything bad happens between us, just know it was my fault. Like you did, like that was going to be a rocket science experiment that was going to take all kind of time to investigate. Of course it's your fault. You a man. Everything is your fault. Motherfucker. Shit, you breathe funny. It's because men fart too much and we have holes in the ozone layer. Oh, y'all, gas is worse than cows. Yeah, he talked about his trauma. See, he's trying to get you to talk about yours. He wants you to talk about your weaknesses and your traumas and stuff that scares you and your insecurities and your doubts, self-doubts and stuff like that. That's what he's trying to get ammo. Listen to that series on the narcissist. And the latest one I did, what is it, the 21 things? What is that series you got? It was a 3-video set with 7 in each one, 21 things of women. So I forgot what the title was. But anyway, it's 21 things that was done like in March or April. I mean, pretty recent. And it's 3 set videos. Look at that. And in there, you'll hear the stories about these kind of dudes and why you don't fall for this game. I'm telling you, singing that sob story. Do you want me to pull some violin music up on my YouTube music so you can have an accompaniment to that sad song you're trying to sing? Because it's just really boring listening to you. One thing I don't like is whiny ass men crying about some shit. It's fucking turn off. See, I say stuff like that to him. I don't want to be. Makes me itch. Anyway, let's see. What do we have coming up? Oh yeah, on Thursday we're gonna have this show. This should be very interesting. This is gonna be a live stream. It'll be on Thursday, so same time as today, 6 p.m. So I hope you can come on through. I gotta hurry up and make my slides. I haven't done it yet, but that'll be Thursday, this coming Thursday. So if you have not already become a subscriber to this channel, please hit the subscription button and hit the instant notification bell before you get up out of here. And then you'll, you won't miss it. Because sometimes people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to come and see that. I want to see that. But then you forget. So if you do it that way, you'll get a reminder. In the meantime, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video or any others that we have on this channel. There's a total of, I don't know, about 1,500 videos, right? So, yeah, that should be good for you to do that and come on through on Thursday. And then we'll be back again next Tuesday with the last What the Fuck Tuesday of July. And then we'll be heading on into August. And then we'll be doing our first DNN that first Friday in August. And we got about 6 of those or so, as much as I can handle. I'll talk to you guys soon. See you on Thursday. Bye bye.